Hey, this is Keith Krockett coming to you live, large and charged, right here in front of the Richmond Coliseum, right here in Richmond, Virginia. I'm standing here as one of the greatest legends in professional wrestling. You know him as Diamond Dave Hebner. Diamond Dave, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing wonderful.
It's good.
Wonderful.
Well, good to see you out here. We're in front of the Richmond Coliseum. A whole lot of NWA action and all kinds of things have happened over the years here in front of this building and inside this building, just like we're doing now. And we came down here today to capture a few moments with Dave, reminisce about the building, some of the things that have happened in his career, and how he's doing nowadays in 2020. So it's Keith Krockett and Dave Hebner right here live in front of the Richmond Coliseum. Hall of Famer all the way, baby, to the door. You're a Richmond native?
All the way,
How long have you been in professional wrestling involved?
about 40 years. Jim Crockett Promotions, NWA.
WWE for a long time. You were with them with the WWF. Vince McMahon. You worked with all those great guys too, right?
Right. I take my hat off to Vince McMahon.
In Richmond, is there a memorable match that you refereed or a card that you put together here that really sets out in your mind?
Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, way back in Rip Hawk, Sweet Handsome,
Oh yeah,
Andre, Harley Race.
sure.
I used to take them out to eat after the show was over.
Right. Yeah, sure.
All those guys come along.
And they've all wrestled here too, even in that generation,
every
right?
One of them, every one of them.
So you say that you were here when they broke ground for the Richmond Coliseum. I wanted to just tell you, one of the memorable matches that I've seen you do through your career, okay, was when you refereed in Tokyo, okay, and it was Hulk Hogan and Stan Hansen, and that was a pretty big match. Remember that one?
Yeah,
That one?
yes.
I watched that match not too long ago, and that was like in April of 1990, I believe. Okay, it was when that match went on, and I really saw Hogan work. Hogan really could work. A lot of people would say in the business that Hogan couldn't work a match, that he was like just more show and blow than he was any wrestling. But that night, Stan Hansen made him work, and I saw a side of Hogan I really never saw in matches in America.
The people did get their money worth. It's a shame that some people come in and get everything.
People don't realize that Dave Hebner did so much in wrestling behind the scenes, and that's why we came out here today. And you did some big matches from WrestleMania. I mean, you've been in all of them. And so, to me, as a person who does interviews and things in this business, promotions, I look at you as like you were as big as Hogan and Hansen in that match, because it's, again, A to Z as a referee. But again, you were so smooth at it. You were so good at it that you just made it look easy. But let the people know, is refereeing easy?
No.
Another thing in Dave Hebner's life, you served in the military, served our country, didn't you?
Right.
How many years were you in the military, and what branch of service were you in?
I was over there 4 years.
4 years, and where you were a Vietnam veteran?
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, hell of a career in professional wrestling, but before that, you served our country. And we appreciate that, Dave. We appreciate you doing those things and serving our country. We want to let the wrestling fans know that, too. That's another side that people don't realize about Dave Hebner. So, between wrestling and serving our country, we appreciate it, because you've really done a whole lot in both sides of that life.
The reason I retired was because it took a drop Vince goes out and pees in his pants and on live TV.
Right.
And I feel like in my heart, I'm doing everything I can to get this
Over.
over.
Yep.
And
That just didn't coincide with your beliefs, did it?
no,
See, a wrestler, like you hear different guys like Jim Cornette talk too, you know. He'll talk about like ECW and say how that just didn't coincide with his wrestling beliefs. He thought that like any person with a heartbeat could actually go out and perform what the ECW guys perform, and it's just things that he's saying. And so basically a lot of guys from your generation and what you've done, they kind of feel the same way. It was hard to stick in a business where they were using more profanity, using more sexuality, or things that, you know, you didn't really need to do, like you're saying, you know, a minute ago, to get over in the business. You don't need all that.
right. All you need is something nice, keep it nice.
It's still a professional sport to me,
Right.
okay? My thing is, there's so many sports right now being ruined by politics. We haven't even though they're doing it in the studio and we see them doing it the way they're doing it, I kind of like it because they haven't used politics as a storyline. They've used wrestling storylines and stayed to it. They're only about the only thing on TV that's live that's fresh. Everything else is reran, and we're just now starting at this day of filming this. We're starting to get some sports coming up. Major League Baseball is going to start coming back into action. NFL is going to supposedly start up. NBA, things that I'm not really interested in, but following in the lines of the traditional sports. You know, to me, professional wrestling, even though it's entertainment, it's still a sport. And so I still think it's been a decent thing, and I always try to get the perspective of the older legends and guys like yourself who've been around the business so long, you know, or what you think about it, because there's no crowd. And to me, the crowd in any sport is like another referee. You know, no matter what it is, the crowd is like the other referee. They keep the referee honest. And so, you know, you just got a whole lot of different products out there. Do you know Cody Rhodes' promotion? Have you heard about that one?
Yeah. My brother Earl's working for them.
Yeah. What do you think about them? Have you watched any of that or anything?
Not really.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Cody's done a really good job. You know, he's not dusty, of course, but like he's really young and he's eager about the business. You know, I think Triple H and Stephanie do a great job. I think they're eager about the business too. But like, you know, it's good to have competition in the wrestling business because fans want some variety.
I'm Becky. I'm Dave's daughter.
I'm Rebecca, David's wife.
And everybody knows who I am. When I come in that town, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to be on your apple head. How about that, Crockett?
Sounds splendid, Dave. So anyway, this is Keith Krockett. I'm coming to you live, large in charge, outside the Richmond Coliseum one more time. We talked to Dave Hebner today. And we just got wind that his family was here with him, okay? Which we already knew that anyway.
But
So we thought
they paid.
they paid. Anyway, they paid a long time too, let me tell you. So anyway, we were talking and we found a little story we wanted to go over, and Becky could explain it the best. We asked Dave, you know, how he got started in the business and some of the things he did and how he transpired into the business. And I'd like Becky and Rebecca to tell you right now that story. Go ahead, Becky.
Okay. Well, Daddy and Earl, my uncle, Earl Hebner, they got a bus, and it was like a prison bus, and they bought it when they first started out with wrestling, and they took out all the seats. And when they showed up to the house with Mama was like, "What is this?" And Daddy said, "This is our bus, and we're going to name it Bluebell." It was the brightest blue bus. Trust me, you couldn't miss the Hebner family. I'm telling you. So Daddy and Earl pulled all the seats out, put the ring in there, hauled the ring, and they traveled, you know, different little towns, North Carolina, South Carolina. And
They'd come home with that blue bus right in front of the beautiful trees we had, and I called it the prison bus. I said, "When are you going to get rid of that prison bus?" And they'd get to laughing and everything, but they went down the road all the time with that blue bus, with no seats in it, and they just loved every minute of it.
Yeah, they did this for years, eating bologna sandwiches, beans and franks. And I tell you, got paid, what, $50 a day, a night for doing what they did. But I tell you, they love it. I love it. I want to hopefully one day maybe make my daddy proud and be stepping in his shoes, maybe get a hit in the business or something. That'd be great.
What year was this? What year did Dave and Earl break into the business? And let people know out here, Dave and Earl are twins. And give
Yes,
a little
Daddy-
background
yeah,
real quick
Daddy
here.
and Earl are twins. Go ahead, Mama. You know.
It was in 1973 that David started refereeing.
And how he got started? You told me that story.
He
if you
was
missed it.
he was at the barn in cattle barn over there.
At
that they
RC.
had- yeah, and he would work the stands. And that night he was working the stands, and George Scott talked to David. Sandy Scott, excuse me. And he asked David if he'd like to get it, start refereeing. David said sure. So he started working with him, and that's how he started working part time. Every once in a while he'd get in and referee once or twice, and that's how he got into business.
And Dave and Earl, they're twins, and they've worked together all these years. How many years?
Oh goodness.
30-some,
40-some?
40-some. Yeah, I can't tell you how old
And
I
again,
am.
we were talking about this over here under the tree a minute ago. We were taking a break, and that long for brothers to work together is legendary by itself. So you guys, they've really put a whole lot into this business. We know it's been their life, but the people out here in television land, they don't really know the real Dave Hebner and all he's really done, and really Earl either. They did a whole lot in the business, and it really needs to be noted.
Earl started working for Vince McMahon in 1988 when they had the main event with
On TV.
Yeah, on TV, and that's when Earl came in, and they had the two referees. Earl was the bad referee. David was the good referee.
Good cop,
Yeah,
bad
make
cop.
that clear, because everybody thinks,
Yeah,
Earl was the bad one.
Yep.
That was
Daddy
the
was
first,
the good one.
That
Yep.
was the first night Earl started working for Vince McMahon. They needed another referee, and David asked Vince, "Hey, I got my brother, because he worked, with Krockett and everything." So that's the way it happened.
I hear this story all the time, and it's a hot day out here in Richmond, and we're going to get going here, but I hear this all the time. There's an old saying in the business: always make sure you got your gimmick bag ready at the match if you're in the business or want to be around it, because you never know when you're going to get your number called. For example, I was in North Carolina one time and never even thought about it, and I was already exposed to the business and being in the business, and a ring announcer didn't show up one night, and that was when I got to go down there. And let me tell you, you want to do it until you get that shot. Boy, do the butterflies start going. You got to go in front of 200 or 300 people. The thing about it was that night it was a hot crowd, and man, I really had to pour it on. But when you get that break, it's something about it goes through your body, and you can't ever forget it again. And so I know I can put myself where Dave and Earl were on those positions, because without being able to have skills of going up in front of talking to people or being able to be a referee, you couldn't handle the job, and you were waiting for that break.
Oh yeah.
Well, Crockett, I want you to know I got my gimmick bag ready. So anytime you're ready, baby, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Well, honey, let me tell you, when this COVID's done and the sun comes out and the fans want to scream one more time, I'm going to make that call to you to come to West Virginia and make your debut and live your dream out, Becky Hebner.
All right.
Pro wrestling fans, Keith Krockett coming to you from Richmond Coliseum, one of the greatest wrestling families ever in the business. Next time we see you, we'll see you in West Virginia, and she'll be making her debut with her daddy. Hall of Famer all the way, baby, to the door. Hall of Famer all the way, baby, to the door. We're going out right now. We want to say goodbye. We want to say thank you. Diamond Dave, give it to him, Diamond Dave, because we will see you all at the matches.